Welcome back to
warm water.
no, it's not the Global Jug of Warm Water this week. It's called The Game Club. We're like a book club. We play games every month and we talk about them.
This ain't your nans of mice and men. This is Super
Metroid. This is part 0. We haven't played Super Metroid at all yet.
You haven't touched it.
Haven't touched it.
This is the same conversation.
Never played a Metroid game.
What's our
Never played a
expectations?
Metroid game.
Never played a Metroid game.
Wow.
It's one of many games that I never played a Sonic game.
Never played a Sonic game. This guy is wearing a Sonic t-shirt as we speak.
My friends, Sonic Underground all the way.
I think Metroid is probably my favourite Nintendo franchise.
Ooh,
over
that's
the
very
Mario.
good. Because you played Dread, didn't you?
Metroid Dread is the best Switch game.
Okay, and you played a little bit of Super Metroid before.
I played most of Super Metroid.
Okay.
I got to like almost finish.
Well, I grew up with Super Metroid.
Metroid
Sorry,
Fusion. Metroid Fusion's very good.
That's Game Boy, isn't it?
It's a Game Boy one. And I've played the first Metroid.
Oh, that's a bit rough.
That is
That's a
rough. I
bit
had to
rough.
finish it.
Okay, fair enough then, fair enough. I grew up with Super Metroid because I grew up with Super Nintendo as my first console. I'm not that old, but it was my first console. But it's yeah, I played it on and off as a kid. It was a bit sort of complicated, a bit hard, so I didn't play too much of it. But yeah, I'm hoping to finally give it a. I might play it on original cartridge, but I might play it on Switch. I haven't decided.
I have literally nothing to input here. Is it a side scroller?
It's
like a.
It defines a genre.
It's a Metroidvania.
Yeah, it's defined it's Metroid Castlevania. It's defined a genre.
Have you played Ori and the Blind Forest?
No.
Have you played?
Hollow Knight.
Yes.
It's Hollow Knight.
It's basically an open world platformer, basically, where you go to different levels to find different bosses, find different items.
And you need like certain items to progress certain areas.
Yeah,
and stuff.
it's probably a game we'll need a walkthrough for.
Yes.
But no, what were our expectations for it? Do you know?
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward
Again,
to it.
I've never seen any clips of this Metroid game, so I'll
From memory, it's aged fairly well.
Smash in that.
Yeah.
Is,
I was spoiled.
Samus is
Yeah, Smash is where I think we all know the character from.
Yeah, I know. I do know that, but
Having my first Wii game was Super Smash Bros. Brawl. I remember getting Samus and
Samus is cool in that game.
That made me playing Samus in that game made me get Metroid Prime.
Teaming up with Pikachu in Subspace Emissary is brilliant.
She's the best character in.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
Kirby.
Kirby She's a space bounty hunter.
Anyway, we'll see you in maybe about a week or two for when we play. For when we're halfway, 5 hours in. When we beat, we looked it up. The halfway point is about Fantoon. When we beat Fantoon,
Second
the
boss.
the second
game.
boss.
I'll be looking out for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try emulation.
You mean you're going to play an original Super Nintendo?
Yes. Sorry, I will be
I
on my
will be buying
SNES.
off eBay. I've had a look, a £200 NES
And or
system.
the Switch Online version.
Yes. Emulation is bad.
Don't come
Nintendo.
after us, Nintendo.
No, Nintendo, you're very chill about these sort of things,
Yeah.
you know, but
Nintendo.
don't worry about
listen,
us.
guys. Miyamoto, guys.
Miyamoto.
Doug.
He's a big fan. Miyamoto's a big fan.
Yeah. Doug, if you're there, I've got my eyes on these guys.
I miss Reggie.
Bring
listen,
it on.
Reggie's, who do you think I am?
Well, anyway,
I've been playing my 3DS.
I've been playing my new Nintendo 3DS. But my body is Reggie for...
I think we should probably clarify for the list. We're playing the original Super Metroid. There was a 3DS remake.
Welcome back to the pharmacy car boot sale. Today we're going to buy some cow pulp from a car boot.
It comes with a stomach pump.
Not banana flavoured though.
Not banana flavoured.
Was that
Cow pulp?
yeah, I think you can get banana flavoured.
I
only ever had strawberries.
I only had raw cow pulp.
I had paracetamol.
He drank from the bottle.
Was Calpol was paracetamol, wasn't it? It wasn't.
To be honest, I think it was just water.
I think it was mostly placebo, yeah.
It was all bollocks.
Anyway, welcome back to the Game Boy.
So this month we played a Tom game. Tom,
Yes.
Super
Remind
Metroid.
us.
Super Metroid. I have played some of it before, but I've never really got beyond the escape bit at the very beginning. So we've played the first 5 hours
You never got beyond the escape bit at the very beginning.
Well, I lost interest.
That's the first 10 minutes.
No, I know. I've never gone beyond that.
He walked 5 steps and fucking slept.
Let's get it, boss. But yeah, this is the first time I've sat down and played it.
Right.
We're okay. Yeah, so Super Metroid, it came out in 1994.
Yeah, it says in the intro.
It says it in the intro. It is the third in the series. I'm the only one here who's played and finished a Metroid game other than this.
So before we go through the story, what are your thoughts of the game, Tom?
I am very much enjoying it. I think we should point out we've all stopped at the point where you kill the Phantoon.
Phantoon, the second main boss, but the fifth proper boss.
Yeah.
I think there's been 5.
Yeah.
I'd say the third main boss.
Was it the third?
I guess
According
Ridley?
to the websites and things, Crocomire is a mini boss, Spore Spawn's a mini boss, Teresa is a mini boss.
Okay.
Teresa. It recaps the last 2 games in the beginning, doesn't it? With the
Yes, it gives you like a story,
Yeah.
kind of like a slideshow.
Like updated
it's the
graphics.
very few bits of story this game actually has.
Well, there's a little bit. So Samus has saved the galaxy from the Metroids in the first game.
I first battled the Metroids on planet Zebes.
Yeah.
It was there that I foiled the plans of the space pirate leader, Mother Brain, to use the creatures against the galactic civilization.
Yes.
I next fought the Metroids on their homeworld, SR388. I completely eradicated them and accepted lava, which followed the muck of use child.
This is English. Isn't it?
I personally delivered it to the Galaxy Research Station at Sarah Station with the scientists, and it did. With the personalization, the scientists on the station realized energy producing qualities.
It's not English.
Shit with the audio.
The scientists finding astounding. They've discovered that the powers of the Metroid might be harnessed for the good of civilization. Satisfied that they all was well, I left the station to seek new bounty to hunt, but I had hardly gone beyond the asteroid belt when I picked up a distress signal. Sarah Station was under attack.
No one wants to hear this.
So the game starts when you get to Sarah Station and everything's really quiet.
there.
Everything's really quiet. But there's dead bodies right where that Metroid was in the intro. Oh my god!
And the Metroid is there. He's in the jar.
Oh, it's fine. Just pick it up, put it back.
And then all of a sudden, some eyes.
Some eyes appear. Oh my god!
It's Ridley from Super Smash Bros.
Oh my god!
No!
I remember that. So tangent. That bit in Subspace of Mystery where Captain Falcon is falling down the pit and he clicks his fingers and his ship appears and then Metal Ridley comes and chases up. That is the coolest fucking scene in my whole life. I love that bit.
Anyway. Ridley's cool, man.
Ridley is a cool character.
I like Ridley.
Ridley is actually not a pterodactyl dragon thing. It's actually a pirate.
Yeah. He's a space pirate.
That's something I didn't know before we playing this.
Yeah, the insect-looking guys who stand up, they're also pirates. They have, like,
before we continue,
beams.
So, Jack, you've been playing on the Switch, right?
Yes.
You've been playing the Switch version. Tom, you've been playing...
I'm playing on the Steam Deck through a emulator.
Yeah, that's fine. And I have been playing on the original Super Nintendo.
Oh, look at this guy.
Which means I get no saves, no save states, and no rewinds.
But I don't know about you, I have no rewinds either, and I have used twice the save state. And that's purely to skip the walk from the save room to the boss room.
Right, yes, that's something that I'm not doing.
I've been treating the save just as a normal save, the creating a save point. I've been treating that just as a
So
normal
you haven't
save.
been going...
Yeah.
I've used this normal save thing a few times. I haven't used rewind too much. The only time I've used rewind is if I've died, then I'll just reset back to kind of it just saves a new time.
Yeah, sure. I think rewind is the real one that would be like that's. I'm not using it like say I'm defeating. I get killed by the boss. I'm like okay, I'll go back.
Yeah. I can already tell you're definitely playing a better resolution than I am because from what I saw on YouTube and things and like the emulators and things, the image quality is so much better because I'm playing on I'm playing on a flat screen, and obviously
it would have been like a CRT.
It's not the original Super Nintendo is not built for it. So there's a little bit of blurriness to it, but it's fine.
I would say for a SNES game, this game looks very good.
It does.
I like it.
SNES has a very particular aesthetic to it. Like Super Mario
holds
World.
up.
Super Mario World genuinely is the best looking Mario game.
You reckon?
Yeah, it really is the best looking Mario game.
I think I'll probably debate it, but that's a story for another time.
The dog debate is it as well.
Well, while we're on the topic of, I suppose, the consoles, isn't the SNES?
The SNES.
Is the SNES controller dog shit as the Switch?
The SNES controller, my one, is quite dog shit.
Yeah, so is mine. I was
Not as in the buttons themselves.
Yeah, and I was when learning to wall jump. It took me about 10 minutes to deal with how to wall jump. I looked at my thumb after, and there was a massive dent in it, which didn't go away for about an hour and a half.
Wall jumping is bullshit.
Can I just
It
say one
is.
thing? Wall jumping.
Wall jumping is the game, yeah.
I haven't got it.
There's a
It's not an ability.
no. It's
You
not
can
an
do it
ability.
straight from the start.
It's not an ability, but there is the tutorial on how to
There's
do
a
it.
tutorial. There's like these little elf things that jump up a mess of pit.
It's like I think it's like Super Run.
I didn't even got that.
No, super,
Do you pick
Super,
because
you
you,
need that.
you need
You
speed.
do need
Yeah, that's an ability you
Like
find.
dashing.
But
Speed.
but yes, yeah, you can do wall jumping straight from the
But it's
beginning.
like
yeah.
it's a tutorial.
Because so the way you do it is
No,
you hold the direction you're going to jump into the wall of,
Yeah.
and then when you're on the wall, before you press jump, hold the opposite direction and then press jump. It's bullshit and incredibly hard to do.
When you jump to the wall, do you stick to the wall?
No.
No, you don't stick to
Oh,
it.
that's-
It
that's-
is,
gotta-
it is a frame perfect
Yeah.
trick.
Oh.
Yeah,
It must be optional because I haven't.
it is. Yeah,
needed
yeah.
it
You
at
don't
all.
need it to
I
complete the
don't.
game.
I haven't come across any point where I'm like,
I've never even
I
seen
need
that.
to do this. I think it helps on some bits.
You need it if you want to 100% it because you have to go up this one pit to get some missiles, but like you don't need to. You don't
But
need
again,
to finish the game.
you don't know what you need to 100% the game because I come across that and I was like, oh, I must need this later on.
Yeah. Well, there is probably an ability that I know of later on that we haven't got to that will probably negate that.
Okay, is that
There's
screw
two.
attack?
No.
Okay.
I won't
Is that,
spoil it
that's
for later
just a
on.
famous ability that I know.
That is, yeah, you will get that. I think.
So on that my Super Nintendo version, because it's the PAL version,
Oh.
the intro cutscene forces either German or French text on me.
Oh, really?
It has English text, but at the bottom it has German or French subtitles.
Well, that's interesting. I'm playing on the Japan
Yeah.
version, and it comes up like normally as it would normally appear in English, but then underneath it is like Japanese subtitles.
Right. Okay.
But I
Okay.
changed it to then just English.
Oh, yeah,
Mine, I think is just probably.
I think
normal.
you've got the
Mine's
American
just
version.
normal American because it's on the Switch.
Normal American.
Normal American.
Normal American, which is English. Which is English.
But on the Ceres space station, very atmospheric. I really like the atmosphere of the music and just like the all calm and everything. Like I was actually listening to some of the soundtrack on YouTube and I saw a comment from someone saying, before this, no game had ever accurately captured the fear and isolation of space. Absolutely haunting. And I thought that is really spot on. I think.
Fantastic soundtrack.
And apparently, just no other game after that ever
got
really
it.
captured the atmosphere and just like the absolute aloneness of Samus. Because Samus is completely alone the entire game.
Did you have voice acting in the first bit?
Yeah, the really dumb voice of the last
was that?
Metroid is in
Is there any
captivity.
other SNES game that has voice acting?
I think there's a
Maybe?
few.
Okay. I feel like just the early doors, I feel like my opinion's going to be a lot higher of this game than you two.
It's all positive so far.
All positive so
there's
far,
definitely-
but from what I've
there's definitely
heard...
negatives.
In the intro, where it's like you could hear that like.
Yes.
I really think that really adds into the isolation of it because I kind of imagine that's Samus breathing. That's like Samus has a bit of like a Darth Vader thing going. I think.
Well, I think you would if you're in a metal stuff. I think you probably would. So
Like,
that's probably what it is.
that's the only thing Samus can hear, just herself breathing.
Maybe, yeah, sure. It's cool. Or is Ridley like following her around?
So Ceres Station explodes,
Oh no!
and then somehow
There you go.
Samus just automatically knows how to go to Planet Zebes after this.
Well, it's like... I think she has been there before.
Yeah, well, she's from there
Yeah.
technically. Well, she's from somewhere else, but
I can't-
I looked into the lore. She's from somewhere else, but she was raised on Planet Zebes.
The law's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's not like... It's not crazy.
crazy.
Kind of crazy. But I think they have to explain it in each game how she loses all of her power from the
Oh
previous
yeah.
That could be a bit...
What's it?
But then I think that makes sense. It's like
It makes sense in this one, I guess.
I think it makes sense a lot of them because you could argue like I know with the I say the Batman games with definitely Origins. It's like why does he have this equipment here, but he doesn't have it for the
like the beginning of Tears of the Kingdom, where you at the beginning part you've all got all your powers and everything, and then Ganon zaps them all the way. And it's just like, oh, and now you got one heart
I like
again.
that, 'cause at least you actually lose an arm.
Yeah, at least actually explains it.
Yeah.
I was actually really surprised as the ship lands down on planet Zebes. I was surprised that I should also say this game has sort of been has existed in my life my entire life, basically, because I've had Super Nintendo was my first console, and I have I've always kind of I've played it on and off for 26 years. I played it on and off.
Yeah.
However, I never really got very far with it because as I was a kid, the Super Nintendo was more of a toy. It wasn't really it wasn't something to complete. It was just sort of something to mess about with.
Yeah.
That's with
I think
every
I think that's a normal thing. I think probably with us that with the consoles that we played that come out our time with PlayStations and that. I think you do think of the older consoles as almost toy wise.
Yeah, I think if you get all of it.
Yeah, if you get what I mean, it's I think that's
even
that's
with the old Pokemon games. I was like, this isn't something to complete. This is just fun little animals on my screen.
I've played a fair, well, not all of the Metroid. I played a good chunk of the Metroid games, and I've finished a couple of them, but only as an adult. As a kid, these would be.
I think it's probably more of a bit of a not an adult game. I think it's probably an older game.
Yeah.
Well, kids in the 90s were on this game for months. But anyway, the ship comes down to planet Zebes, and Samus sort of turns away at the top of the ship.
Yep.
And I was really surprised that I remembered it straight away from 20 years ago. I remembered straight away where to get the morph ball. I knew exactly where to go.
Go left.
Left and down the hole.
I went left the first time because I was like, you always start a game, always go backwards.
Yeah, the right's a dead end though, isn't it?
Well, no,
that is
going left is back.
Yeah.
Right
Trivia: where the morph ball is found is where Metroid 1 starts. Yeah.
It's the same place.
Ooh, most. And then you go right from the morph ball, find the missiles.
Yeah.
I'm going to start the criticism door early, and this is also probably a personal one for the emulator and also the game. Select to having to change from beam to missile is quite annoying.
It's
also,
annoying.
If I want to save state, it's select and RB is save.
Oh, right.
Which makes it very annoying sometimes, because if you sometimes select an LB, it will load from a previous one. It's like, you fuck.
Well, Mr. Miyamoto would tell you don't emulate then.
No, absolutely, and I would agree.
I
shouldn't, but I am.
Yeah, you have to press select to swap the weapons or bombs and that on the Switch. Yeah. I think it's annoying, but it's also how else are you gonna do it?
I
don't think there's any way for how the SNES was made that you could have done it.
Well,
I don't think.
My Super Nintendo controller, the select button barely works. I really have to jam it in because, to be honest, I think I need to open it and clean out the
get a new one.
connectors. Nintendo, can I have a brand new Super Nintendo controller, please?
They sell ones for the.
Yeah, they were selling for Switch. Yeah,
they probably work on the SNES.
Nah, no, it's wireless. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So but no, later on, when you have loads of abilities on your top bit, and you have to select to get all the way through, that is a pain in the ass, especially when you get to some of the bosses.
I would say I don't know if it's just this game. Normally it's just missile, occasionally super missile, and the super bomb. Yeah, and that is it.
Yeah,
I think in Dread it's just the missile becomes the super missile, and you don't even need to do anything for. And there's no select in that game. So you just hold.
Yeah, no, yeah. Well, the thing is, on the Super Nintendo controller, select the Y, the green one.
Start button.
Y.
Oh, Y, sorry.
Yeah, that doesn't do anything. So why isn't that just the select? Why isn't that just the...
You can change the buttons.
Yeah, you can change the buttons. But I was too busy complaining about that. So...
Okay, sure.
But as you're leaving that missile room, I randomly shot the ceiling with one of my missiles, and I found an energy tank in the ceiling. Can't reach it yet, though. Can't reach it, it's too high up.
Well, maybe I have to come back.
Maybe I'll have to come back. Maybe I have to come back though.
Yeah, I like it.
God, how am I going to get that energy tank? Yeah.
Zooey mama.
But as you go back to the lift up, ambush! Space pirates have appeared.
No.
Oh my god!
Who just decided to commit genocide and kill them?
Yeah. So this game is just Samus destroying an entire ecosystem, really.
Well, the space pirates have the ecosystem.
Yeah, but you still kill the animals.
There's also animals.
There's a lot of animals that you destroy. Yeah, calm the world.
And then you find...
You're trying to just power up.
You find a stone statue, which you have to kill.
Yes.
That might be the first...
No. You find a stone statue. Oh, it's a new item. Let's get this new item. The door's locked. Oh, no.
That's the first boss.
Yeah, that's I think
very easy.
that. I was gonna say that's actually one of the hardest bosses.
I would say not. I think I did that
because
first
at that
try.
stage you're really underpowered. You only have one energy tank. You don't have any of your abilities.
Yeah,
you have
like
5
charge
missiles,
beam, yeah.
and the
I think
attacks
it's
are like
three
really
missiles
hard. The attacks. I thought it was more. I think it's more than 3 missiles.
to kill it.
Yeah, but after and those attacks are like quite hard to dodge. I think. I think that's probably the hardest one, and I'll give you a reason why that might be the hardest one a little bit later, because there is a big twist coming up in my story.
Okay. Out of the bosses I played, out of the 5 bosses we played, it's one of the harder ones, but it's not the hardest.
I wouldn't
And
say
it's not hard.
I wouldn't say it's definitely not the hardest one.
No,
Yeah.
100% true, 100%.
And after I got the missiles, and there was only 5 of them at the start, I was like rationing the missiles quite a lot, and some of the bigger enemies were pissing me off because I was like, because they took so many hits, and and if you shoot as second you see them, they're gonna hit you before they're dead.
Yeah.
So like, they were pissing me off.
The enemies that really piss me off are the ones that like start off on the ceiling and they jump in like the big loop.
I don't mind them. I'm the praying mantis ones. I hate the
well, the
pirates.
ones that just shoot. Oh, not too bad.
Or the ones that have the wings at the later on.
okay.
I hate those ones.
You get at that point though, you're pretty powerful. Like you can deal with it fairly quick.
But anyway, once I realised that missiles weren't rare, you can get them from basically everywhere. I just started spamming them. Yeah, I was spamming them all the time. And up until that point, I did have quite a miserable time. I was really not enjoying the game up until that point.
I think it's annoying that those doors that you have to blow open with the missiles. I think it's annoying that you have to use 5 missiles to open.
And then once you've done it once,
they are open.
Yeah,
but then
but it's
when
still
you
every time you go to a missile refill point,
But
or whatever,
I think
it's
supposed
5
to,
missiles.
It's supposed to gate your progress so that you're not rushing through without missiles. Because you can get to like a certain boss, and if you've only got 5 missiles, you are fucked.
My notes really skip ahead.
That happened quite a few times for me, and we'll get back to that.
But there's before a lot of the bosses, there's like pipes that spawn enemies that you can just keep.
Yeah. I've been using them. I've been utilising them quite a lot.
Point.
Yeah.
Glad they work on the Switch on the normal version.
So what was after that?
What?
After you find the statue.
Well, you're kind of going around the planet. I think at that point you're going down as well.
Yeah,
You're
so
going into different areas.
at this point you're going to Brinstar, aren't you? So I always thought Brinstar was a planet because I know it from Smash Bros. And I always thought Brinstar that's the name of a planet because it's also that level in Smash Bros. Is also the bit at the beginning of Metroid Prime.
It might be a planet as well, but I don't think it is. I think it is just
Almost Smash Bros. Almost Smash Bros. Nerds. I'm having a real shit time with the jumping. I'm really crap at platforming.
Same here. I'm normally alright at platforms. I'm not.
And the platforms are very small.
But oh my god, the jumping even with I'm using the D-pad, I'm using the arrows.
Yeah.
It is a nightmare on the Switch.
The jumping is
floaty.
But I'm kind of. I don't know if it's just the Steam Deck. I'm pretty good.
Maybe it's that.
Are you using sticks?
I'm using sticks.
Okay, because I think that's probably awful. Using sticks.
Well, I use the D-pad sometimes, but I find with aiming and shooting and jumping.
For shooting that's probably. Quite
I also have back buttons, and that helps. Big time. So I can kind of jump
I
and
walk
look
around using the sticks, but for jumping and that I use the arrows. And again, even with the arrows,
buttons you can see are the buttons I have.
Even with the arrows, it's like. This doesn't work.
I've configured because the right stick's redundant in these games. I've configured it to be like the aiming. Yeah, I've reconfigured my right stick to be aiming. Mm-hmm. So if I flick it to the right, I'll aim up. If I flick it to the left, I aim.
Okay, that's good.
To the left.
I mean, for aiming, that's probably quite good.
I've still got the bumpers as well.
Because I aim with the shoulder buttons.
Yeah, I made that my muscle memory.
With the up and left and things, and up and right. We're ignoring it. We're just pretending the dog.
He's trying to ruin our fun.
The dog just really hates Metroid.
He hates Metroid so much.
I know the dog very well.
The dog's just really pissed off that Metroid was a girl.
So you keep exploring, you keep getting power ups, you get the charge beam.
Is this where you get the charge beam?
Well, I'm not really sure. But let's keep skipping
but
forward.
you find
because the charge beam you get the charge beam fairly early on. You all walk through ice scene. I
love it.
Only just got the charge beam.
Really?
Just before beating Phantom is when I got the charge beam.
Okay.
So I got it incredibly late.
Yeah. So you got the triple beam before you got.
I got the triple beam. I got the ice beam.
Triple beam. I felt
Triple
like
beam is a game changer.
I felt like a genius with the triple beam because that was the first time we should also say, have we been looking at walkthroughs and things?
Yes.
Because I certainly have.
I have tried to
vaguely.
Yeah.
I have tried to go. What I'm like is I'm playing it. I'm doing it my own way. But if I'm at a point where I'm like, right, for the charge beam, for example, I knew it was a thing. I was like, I have no idea where this is.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, get the guide up, have a look.
Well,
But apart from that, I've kind of been like trying to explore myself.
Yeah.
I've only been using a guide when I come to a full stop.
If I'm I have genuinely, I've got no new areas I know of where to go.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've been everywhere. I will then look up.
So
I've also been looking at the instruction manual the original game came with, which does help.
I've been looking at GameSpot.com for the walkthrough of that. And then I remembered halfway through, hang on, I have the original player's guide, magazine for it. And I was like, I could just be reading this. And I've been flicking through it. I felt like I was in the 90s.
That's pretty cool. That's good for that.
Well, that's good. The guides that I used, I've used 3 guides because one of them was a guy trying to get to the charge beam.
Yeah.
It was about a minute in I found out the guy was actually quite pissed recording the video. I think he might, and he just uploaded it because he didn't get to the charge beam.
Some of the videos on YouTube, there's people like, okay, you need to use a speedrun tactic here, and it's like, fuck off, no.
And what I've noticed on YouTube is there's not a normal just a normal walkthrough. It's either 100% or speed running, and it's like I don't really want to do either of those.
When I've been stuck on bosses and things, I have looked up all missile locations, all super missile locations, all energy tech locations.
I haven't used guides for bosses.
I haven't got all of them. I've just been going for some of the easy ones.
I haven't used guides for bosses.
I've only died twice at bosses.
I don't use guys on bosses. I use guys just get all the missiles and things. Yeah.
I died once on the Croco Maya.
Really?
Cocoa Pops.
Yeah, because
he
is very easy, but it was fucking me off.
Well, we need to do Spore Spawn first.
Well,
we're at
the Spore Spawn.
He might be the easiest.
I like Spore Spawn.
I like him.
Because it was an easy boss.
No, not because it was easy. I just think he's a very chill dude. I think it's really annoying though that you can find that safe spot, but then you have to crouch and then uncrouch and then crouch again and uncrouch. And you have to press it twice each time, and I think that's really annoying. But I think the music during that bit, the creepy music and he's just hanging out.
He's just hanging out, and then you jump on him.
Samus doesn't do it. Samus is just killing things. Spore wasn't doing anything wrong.
What ability do you get for killing? Do you get any, or do you just go up?
I think that's where you get the
Is it bombs?
Ultra bomb.
super missile. That's where you get super missile.
Super missile. Okay.
Super missile.
I don't really use super missile that much.
I use it quite a lot.
Okay.
I don't use it much
because
I
they do a lot of damage on the bosses.
They do. Well, I use it for bosses, but other than that, it's hardly.
Yeah.
Although there is a boss where if you use super missiles, it makes it harder.
So then you enter Red Brinstar, just Brinstar, but it's all red now.
Yep. It's
During this section, how are you supposed to know that you're supposed to break the ground and then fall through? I was stuck in that bit for ages. There's no indication that ground can be broken, and at this point you haven't done that yet.
Yeah. Something that annoys me, and it's going to go through. We're going to skip a little bit ahead and come back. For this entire game, has been the amount of invisible walls that you have to go in, and again, like you said, points where you have to literally just bomb everywhere and hope, oh, there's a place you go down.
Invisible walls and things, and the X-ray scope isn't until way later.
The X-ray scope is pointless.
Yeah,
but the X-ray scope should have been added way earlier into the game, to not make the invisible walls so bullshit.
I would say, coming from someone who's played more Metroid than these guys, it's probably fair to say.
I haven't played.
I didn't struggle on that.
But however, isn't this? I'm pretty sure I heard this is the last Metroid game that basically doesn't give you any direction. The latest Metroid games gives you objectives.
Fusion is basically linear. You'll finish a sector, and then Adam, your guy, will be like, you need to now go here, and then you do that. There's still rooms where you can kind of go in. Then you finish that sector, then you go into this sector, and sometimes they interconnect, but it's very rare.
Right.
Whereas Dread doesn't explicitly tell you, but it's more intuitive of I've just done here, so I need to go here.
Right. Okay.
Whereas Super Metroid is absolutely.
I read that.
You've done here, now you just go back into Brinstar.
Yeah.
Shoot this random wall, and then you can go through it.
See, I don't mind games like that when you have to go back and forward. It doesn't bother me. It's again with the invisible walls. It's just oh, There's no way I would have known that.
There was some that frustrated me. One where you need to, I can't remember, but like, you just, like, the plants that grab you and suck you down.
Fuck them. But don't fuck them in particular. Fuck the red version of them. Sorry, the big petal, the big sort of sucky things. That room with the spikes on the ceiling, the spikes on the bottom, and then the sucky things. I have never been able to get through that room without losing half my health.
I just froze them.
Yeah.
No, not
There's a point where you can't freeze
the pink ones. You can't freeze those ones, can you?
I think you can.
Well, I'm choosing not to believe.
But I think you get to that point when you don't have the ice beam.
Anyway, continue. I interrupted.
Yeah, so there's a bit in the room where you've got to, like, to progress the actual game. There's like a little box you've got to shoot with a missile.
Right.
Then go up, then right. That took me ages. I had to get.
Oh
it.
yeah, no, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was annoying.
So Spazer.
Possibly, yeah.
Because I remember thinking. I remember doing that bit, thinking I'm a fucking genius on this bit.
That's a bit wild.
I figured that a bit all on my, and that was the moment where I was like, the secrets, the secrets and bullshit of this game is really clicking with me now. Or so I thought.
The bit where you just on about where the floor, I didn't know whether to do it. I figured that out because I was like, this is quite a Metroid-y thing.
Which was that?
The one you were saying where I didn't.
The red bit, yeah. But I just think the X-ray script should have been way earlier.
I think I would have been fine with the, and that's kind of what I was really pissed off, and that was it. Actually, on my notes was going hard on the invisible wall bit because I hate it. It was on my notes until I found the X-ray when I was like, oh okay, this is good. Now I know they're in the game, but this should have been way earlier when it's like, okay, X-ray vision. I now know that I need to look for invisible stuff. If that was the case, and then I was stuck following then, I would have been like, fair enough,
to be fair, if you were stuck and didn't know what the invisible wall was, you would have never got to the express code because you need it. No. Which is kind of part of the issue.
I think that's part of the benefit of playing future games, where I know that I need to be looking for this, because that makes it so much easier.
Right, yeah.
And, like, easier to see. Like Dread, literally, like, all you have to do is shoot a missile, and it will just flag them as exactly what ability you need to use.
Well, me with my Super Nintendo, I was pretending it was 1994. No save states. I was looking through my magazine, going, "Oh yes, Samus is a girl."
This is kind of maybe going off game, but what is the one where they show the
first
Samus?
one?
Is it the first one?
So I saw this
100%
in the
because when we first played this, I originally thought it was this one, and it's when you see the head at the very beginning. I was kind of like, oh, that's definitely a girl. I don't know how people are.
Do you know why she was decided to be a girl though?
I think they just thought it was like Alien, right?
It was Alien, yeah. Because there are a lot of similarities between Alien and it's supposed to be Ripley.
Ridley,
It's supposed, she's supposed to be Ripley. But in the original manual for Metroid 1, Metroid is called a he the whole time in the Metroid. And people aren't sure if that was a mistake or just to basically cover up the fact that, like, oh, the twist at the end is that in the end credits it's a woman.
Yeah, that's fun. It's cool. I've only really died at 2 bosses. Which one was the bullshit Croco one? That was that just took me
the bullshit
far too long. The one where you can't kill him, you just got to keep pushing him back.
I think that was the
easy.
second easiest boss.
I'm getting to that.
It just took me a while to figure out what I need to do.
Let's skip on. So we've called the certain place. I think we're on.
So one of my notes says, "Fuck that piranha thing in the water." The thing that you were talking about, the thing that still comes out. That was me rage typing. That I'm pretty sure. Oh, and then you enter the area where it's quite it's boiling in here. God, I feel like I'm dying slowly. I feel like I'm slowly dying.
Can you guys morph ball and jump?
Nope.
Bomb jumping. That's not intended. That's not an intended feature.
Have you guys tried?
No, I haven't. I've seen someone do it on YouTube.
I can do it a little bit, but I'm not really.
No. I can do it like 3 maybe.
Yeah. I'm like.
But speedrunners apparently skip entire bosses just by doing it. Like,
I do like it, like the freedom that. Like, it's not intentional, but it kind of is at the same time. Like, you can do it.
It's not intentional at all.
It's not intentional, but like, you can do it, and the game doesn't break if you do it. Like, you can just skip bosses, and the game's like, okay, that's fine.
Anyway, now that I have the high jump boots,
I
then attempted to go back to the beginning of the game to get that energy tank next to the missiles, but we fell on a big hole. There was you can't go back at the big hole, can you?
Big hole, mate.
Fuck! So I had to go all the way back again.
Mamma mia.
That's amore.
That's amore.
Then,
there's
a big door with an eye on it.
Shoot the eye.
What could that possibly mean?
Shoot, mate.
What could that possibly mean? God, I think I might shoot that eye. And then
Are you going to take this room by room in this game?
and then we're gonna go and fight. Oh, it's a big crocodile monster, but it's not Crocodile. His name is Kraid.
So this is
A recurring
where
boss in the Metroid.
this is where I kind of broke. Well, one of the 2 times I kind of got to a point where I was like, can't really do anything here because at this point here didn't have the charge beam
I don't think I had the charge beam either.
and I didn't have any missiles.
You get the missiles by shooting like the things you froze,
Yeah.
like the claws.
I shot about. I was counting at the time. I shot about 113, and I did not get a single missile.
Oh dear.
And I was like,
Are you finding more tanks? You should find more tanks then, if that's the case, surely.
well, no, 'cause they still do it. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I had full health
Okay.
because I know they drop health as well.
Are you
They drop
at
health.
0 missiles?
0 missiles.
Okay. Alright then.
And literally, I was like, okay, gonna have to load back quite far here.
Okay.
Oh wow. Okay.
I couldn't rewind it because obviously I was in the room for a fair bit.
Yeah.
So that's when I had to load point, get loads of missiles, use a guide to get loads of missiles, go in, and that's when I did it. After I got that, I don't think the boss.
I'm quite
was
happy that at no point was I like, I need more missiles. I was happy with the
I
missiles
needed
had.
some at one particular point, yeah. But
Yeah.
I just think,
I've been going
and
all
this
the way
is
along.
another bit I've got wrong with it is they should not have let you in that room with and then lock you
No
in it.
missiles.
Where with either without the charge beam, because you can have you can kill it with the charge beam. It's harder, and that's fair enough.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the charge beam. I had no missiles, so I was literally stuck in that room.
I can't remember getting the charge beam, but
I
don't
don't know
remember
if you
I
can
get
get a charge beam
it.
before then.
I've only just got the charge beam
Yeah.
before I
I know
defeated
you get it
Phantom.
before Craig or whatever.
I don't know. I don't remember.
I didn't have it then.
I killed the Craig on Craig.
Craig.
I killed Craig on my first try, and I was very happy.
I did my second try, and I've actually made a note here that the save point before Kraid is like miles away, and because I wasn't using save states and stuff, it took me ages to get back there. But I beat it in my second try, so that complaint was pointless. Like, I even wrote, this complaint was pointless. But
He's a recurring boss.
Kraid, genuinely, I think is the easiest boss of the game.
No,
I think he's very, very
I
easy.
think he's mid.
It was probably the most fun boss I played.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's also in most Metroid games.
Yeah, no, he was he's supposed to be like one of the big pirate boys.
Yeah.
And there's a theory that the guy who the dead guy you find outside Kraid's room is the guy who was in the wrecked ship, who piloted the wrecked ship. There's that theory that he came there to fight Kraid.
There's a lot of that, like, it's kind of storytelling by the environment.
No, that's the games of this era. There isn't much story in the games of this era. You have to kind of like read the manuals and things. And this is why Nintendo Power was so popular, because you needed it to be like Nintendo Power would be like, did you know that you can find an energy tank here? And each month they'll drip feed you that to keep you buying it. I keep playing it for like a year basically.
But I think fun boss, but again, it has to lose points of, I was in that room, I was like, I literally can't do anything. I'm killing the enemies because I know they should drop missiles, but they weren't dropping anything. I was full health and they were not dropping anything. And I was kind of like, you know what, this is a bit bullshit.
I'm probably dissimilar to you then, because I thought this is not the turning point, but this is the point where I was like, this is a great game.
I think
After that boss, I was like,
overall, I think it's a fun game. I like it. There's just a lot wrong with it.
fair enough.
It's
Of its time.
Of its time is a phrase I used a lot.
I personally don't find it as much. I think it's held up very well.
I think the word we're looking for is, well, me and Peter anyways, frustrating.
Yes, frustrating is a word.
Good.
Definitely.
But, oh my god, there was a lot of, oh, for fuck's sake.
This is one of the best games I've played in a long time.
We've defeated that boss.
Upon backtracking, in the room with the sucky things that are annoying, the things that suck to you after you have the ball, did you find the secret energy tank in that room? I found the secret energy tank
The
in
one
that
above,
room.
one above, when you have to show
I think it's above, yeah.
Yes,
that's a good
I
one.
did.
I found that one.
How many missiles do you have?
No
at the very
idea.
end.
No
Do you
idea.
know, like-
Oh,
I have about 80.
yeah, at the end, about 80, yeah.
Okay,
About
right,
80.
right.
Yeah, I can't
And
remember.
a super missile's about 15, and
I think I've about 10.
super bombs 10, I think.
Oh, really?
I don't really use them.
Oh, they're good. They're really good. They expose blocks.
I know, that's what I use them for.
They're very good.
And this is where you get the speed booster. After this, you get this
Like
super speed.
Have you
And
managed to do the jump?
I have. I saw the jump bit.
Yeah, the shine jump, I think it's
Yeah,
called. Something
you
like
You
that.
have to,
I've done
that
it once,
was,
yeah.
That
I've
was, again, that was frustrating, how to do the super jump.
Oh, I think that was easy to
Run, stop, press down,
No,
jump.
you just run and press down. You just basically do a skid.
From Metroid Dread, it was very frustrating.
Oh, I think it's the easiest secret ability. I think
give it a go.
you just run and press down. That's all it is.
You don't use it, so what's the
And
point?
and if you hold down, you can like keep it for it. You can keep it and walk about.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway.
I'll give it a go.
Then you can use the speed boost to get through that thing to get to it. It's like a
No,
shortcut.
yeah. I
That
like
was a
that.
satisfying bit. You
Yeah.
run through all the
And
blocks.
destroy everything.
And
Yeah.
it's like it's like a massive shortcut.
Power up after that is the triple shot.
I went back to try and get that energy tank again. That was where the missiles were found.
Yeah.
But again, still couldn't get back there because I was thinking, oh, this is where the shortcut is back to the top. But no, still no.
You will be able to get that later.
Yeah. Oh, this is where I was like, felt like a genius when I realised that I can get the Spazer from here.
This is the bird. There's just a bird on. There's a robin on the old trees out there.
That's fine. It's better than a dog barking.
Yeah.
Got lost after this bit though. I must admit, I got
After
lost
the
after
space.
this bit. Was
I
wandering
got
around
lost
for
quite a bit.
ages.
I got lost quite a bit.
I can't play. I finished it. I got to my 5-hour point quicker than you guys.
Yes.
Because I think I played it.
You completed it. You completed it in a day. I finished this yesterday.
I finished it a few hours
It's
after
more
you
fresh.
yesterday.
Okay, yeah, sure. It's a lot more fresh than you guys.
Yeah.
Man.
Then you get the ice beam, and now you can finally go back to the surface and get that energy tank.
I think between the triple beam and the ice beam, they are the
Lovely.
most game-changing.
Yeah,
abilities.
ice beam is my favourite.
It makes the game so much easier
Yeah,
and more
yeah.
playable.
So much easier. Yeah.
Triple beams are awesome.
Climbed up, then get the barrier suit,
That's
which was a
it.
mistranslation. It was actually originally called the barrier suit.
Wow.
It was a
Nintendo,
mistranslation.
can you sort this out, please?
Nintendo-
In
and
the next
sort your
patch.
game out.
After that, it became canon though. It's just called the barrier suit now. And then you go through that area with now it's like, oof, it's warm in here, but I think I can. I've got my sunscreen on now. I've got my sunscreen. Yeah, and that's when Samus actually looks right after this point. Like Samus actually looks how she's supposed to look in Smash Bros and
we
things.
will get another suit.
Okay, I didn't know that. All right.
There'll be another one.
There's going to be an attachment on it.
But after I went to the barrier suit, I was like, that was Samus from Smash now.
Peter's going for all his information from Smash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brinstar is a planet. I don't know. I was kind of like
I
a
guess,
whoa
yeah.
moment. Yeah. But I recognise that level from Metroid Prime though. That's because I played the first hour or so of that.
Yeah, I think we did.
Um,
So yeah, we got the ice beam. You jump on all the boys. You get back to the
Yeah.
ship, more or less.
you find a big crocodile in the basement.
I thought really okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
you kill him.
So
Get back.
This boss fight, I actually think this one's the easiest.
I think this is the hardest one. I found this one the
Because
hardest. Yeah.
I
After I died the
instantly,
first time, I
I
figured
instantly
out what
knew what to do because it's like I think even on the was it Craig, you shoot him in the mouth. I was like, okay, I'm shooting him, and he's walking, but I just kept doing that and again killed him. I was like, oh, first try.
I got into
First
a
try.
rhythm of just like once you get into a rhythm of charge beam, hit, throw. You just keep doing it, and he can't. You just kind of lock him
Again?
He can't do anything.
At this point, didn't have the charge beam, so I was just using missiles.
Gee, I don't
So-
know how you got through. The charge beam was so good.
So yeah, I found Crocomire to be frustrating and I hate it. So I went back to find more missiles and things to like kind of make him first more super missiles to make him go back further because three steps with a super missile, one step with a missile.
Really?
Yeah.
I just charge beamed him the whole time.
At the bit of the so okay here,
Can I just before we take that? Obviously, Crocmire's death was brutal,
Traumatic. Yeah.
gruesome,
He falls into the lava.
and then his
I'm
skin is
not
just
I'm
left.
not there yet. This is a very significant part of my story that's coming up.
Okay. Your SNES controller broke.
So I was travelling around collecting energy tanks and missiles and things, and I found the wall jumping sprites. There's things like bleep, bleep,
Yeah.
bleep, bleep, bleep. You haven't seen these guys.
I did. This is where again I got really pissed off at the game.
So, yeah,
I actually stopped playing.
Wall jumping pisses me off because
Nah,
it's a dreadfully implemented mechanic.
Was that near, is that near where the crocodile is? Ish.
Nearish, yeah. So it's it's a dreadfully implemented mechanic which it's by the same people who made Mario, which in wall jumping in Mario is incredibly easy to do.
Surely this is before any of Mario's wall jumping, right?
I think actually you might be right there because I think Mario could wall jump in the DS one, the first.
Yeah,
DS
I think that was it.
Actually, well, actually, 3D ones, but the first time you can do it in the 2D ones.
Peter's eyes just slapped.
But
Small Jumping's fucking awful.
The sound of those sprites jumping up the thing frustrated me, so I decided to turn the TV down just to mute it. So my TV doesn't have, the little TV I'm using doesn't have a remote, so I leant over to press it.
Yeah.
Upon doing this, I accidentally knocked the cartridge, and the game crashed. So I was like, okay, that's fine. I saved only about 10 minutes ago, it's fine. Hit the reset button, loaded the game back up again. There was no save.
Let's start all over again.
I started all over again.
Oh my god.
I've played this game twice now. This is the big twist of my story that I was teasing you earlier.
Holy shit. But how much quicker were you the second time?
I think he was probably a bit pissed off.
So I was pissed off for a while. Hang on a second, let's just
took it.
So I was understandably very pissed off here, but I was resilient, and I thought, you know what, I don't want this to happen again, so I'm going to run an emulator. I'm going to go on an emulator, I'm going to try again. So I started playing on an emulator, on PC, yeah. I sped through it. I got all the way to Spore in about half an hour because I was doing the speed up thing you can do on emulator, yeah. So because I was just rushing through it. Got into Spore in about half an hour. But then when I went to the fire zone, I actually walked into the fire zone without the Varia suit.
Yeah.
And I did that before I got the fire suit. There was kind of bits. I was always going into rooms I didn't know. Yeah. There was a few times that I went in there. I was kind of like, I don't remember this room. Oh shit! And you run back out on 10 health. Like oh shit!
Well, I died in that fire room because I didn't forget to get the suit.
You didn't save.
No. And then at this point, the emulator glitched out, and I was now stuck in an infinite death loop. Every time I respawned at the save point, I just died instantly. Oh. So I was like, okay, fuck this then. I'm going to close the emulator. And then at this point, I was like, should I just watch it on YouTube? I was like, no, that's the coward's way out.
Instead of playing it, you just go watch it.
I was thinking, should I just do that? Like, I was so close to fan tune. Should I just watch this bit? And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I even looked up. I even on eBay and looked for a Game Genie, as in a cheat code thing you can use. Yeah. But I was like, no, they were only 20 quid. But I was like, no, I won't do that. I won't do that. 2.5 laters, which previously took me 4 hours.
Okay.
I was at Crocomire again because I played it on the Switch. I just played it on Super Nintendo again. Just prayed it doesn't happen again. Yeah. As long as I don't knock the console accidentally. I did hit it fairly hard, but not on purpose.
He hit it when he died.
As in what I did, the TV was on the floor, so I went like that basically. So I hit it like kind of like a little bit like So it was a little bit. So
you shouldn't do it again. Oh, you know about it.
Yeah, I know about it. So I was so pissed off. I was so pissed.
This is what people in the 90s would have to deal with. You're getting the authentic experience.
I think I got the more authentic experience than you two.
Oh, 100%.
I didn't have a fancy Steam Deck.
So, I'm going to mention it because I don't know where it goes, but the Firefly room. I don't know. Have you seen the Firefly room?
Speaking of the X-ray, isn't it?
I don't know.
But
there's a room where there's enemies. If you shoot the enemies, the light goes out. I call it the Firefly room.
Yeah, sure. I like that room. That room's cool.
Do you remember how you get in there? You have to use a super bomb to get in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went in there. I didn't have any super bombs. So I went in there, I got into the room, I was like, I was trying to freeze the enemies, jump on them. I didn't know the grapple hook existed at this point.
Yeah, just kind of...
So at this point I was like... And then that's actually when I looked at the guy and I was like, there's a grapple hook. I was like, okay, I'll leave, come back later. It's a later problem. Couldn't leave. And again, killed. There was about 4 enemies in there. Killed them a fair few times.
Can't see.
Went, couldn't see, and they weren't dropping in the super bombs. So, as I reload my other save,
you're getting just bad luck with drops, I think.
Can't see, can't leave.
That was a second point. I was kind of like, you know what? Not really a problem here.
Maybe I just had like the ideal experience.
Until I haven't finished my story yet.
Really? Okay, sorry.
I went to reload my game. I'd saved it in the room. And so I did spend about 20 minutes just going around killing these 4 ones until finally
One of them.
I got a Super Bomb, got it, saved, and then left. Yeah, I was in that room for about 30 minutes.
I was in the room for a while because I just didn't realise there was a grappling hook.
I didn't know there was a grappling. I thought you had to freeze them.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to, because it was
You
the
fall
way
down a
the
big
way the
pit.
ones that fly, they kind of fly in a pattern where it's like they meet in the middle. It's like if you time that right,
I
you
thought
can
that's
probably
exactly why.
jump.
I was like, I reckon I could do that. And you probably can, to be fair.
That's the room where I figured out how to use the grappling hook. Like beforehand, I was really struggling with it. And as soon as when I got to this room, this was like a good practice.
Well, probably
like,
so.
I
We
got
then
it now.
we skipped before, but we then got the grappling
Nah,
hook.
it's annoying.
I think I'm the only one who's actually gotten alright with the grappling hook. I'm not a fan of it.
It's just a bit finicky.
I'm not a fan of it, but I've never when I've used it, I've never been like.
I've lost a lot of health needlessly because
I haven't. I think it's actually quite easy to use.
The room on the way, and it's skipping a little bit, but that room on the way between your ship and the wrecked ship, that room where you, like with all the scaffolding and everything, that took me ages because when you fall in the water, Samus moves so frustratingly slowly in the
She
water.
can't jump. She can't jump as well, can she?
It's so. I don't get speed up. Anyway, so I'm going back a little bit here. Kraid was really bloody easy on my second playthrough. Like, beating first time, like very quickly as well. And I think I was starting to enjoy the game on my second playthrough. The 2 hours it took me to get back to Crocomire, I actually was like, I get it now, but this is the problem. This is a problem with, and again, this is a problem with all games of that era, like NES, SNES, Mega Drive, all that.
Yeah.
Once you know the game, and you can say this for any game even now, really. Once you know the game, of course it's going to be more fun. Of course you. Once you know the game, and you're like, oh, I understand. I know what the secrets are. I know where to go. Of course it's going to be more fun the second time round.
I think it's getting your head around the mechanics more.
Right.
Because, like, I haven't really touched Super Metroid before this. But playing, like, Dread and Fusion, and then going to this, I was like, I get it. And I just had fun almost immediately.
Right.
And it was like, I'm exploring, like, a whole new Metroid. It's like, that's cool.
Okay.
So it's probably that.
Maybe it's because you've gone back. Yeah, it's because you've gone. I think it's probably because you played Dread, and now you've gone back to it. Yeah, you're more familiar with.
I would say like the difference between Dread and this isn't as night and day.
Right.
Like the mechanics haven't changed drastically. They've changed. Don't get me wrong. The aiming's so much easier in Dread.
Is Dread a side scroller?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's kind of like Super Metroid.
The only thing
It's Super Metroid.
I've never.
the only thing I ever saw in Dread was that with crawling robot thing. Yeah.
Dread is, and we will get to it hopefully.
It's on my list. It's on my list. No, I've still got my list.
It is the best Switch game.
Oh, fair enough. All right then. I would say that was Mario Odyssey, but I'll take your word
I
for
would
it.
have to agree. It's Mario Odyssey, but
Mario Odyssey is a very, very, very good game. Metroid Dread is so good.
Crocomire. I loved that death scene's really cool.
Actually, I kind of think like children playing that would be like.
What the
I know
fuck?
it's kind of like you think like that's horrifying, especially the bit when you kill him, you go all the way to the left, and then his skeleton's there.
And I really liked the Crocomire joke where like you go through the spiked wall
And
then there's a skeleton. And I had this moment like, oh fuck, and then he just falls apart. And I was like, that's cute.
How did it get there?
It's just a joke, isn't it?
I
It's
like
just a joke.
I like that as well. I thought it was like a
Because I think it's supposed to be like a reference to like Bowser, like when he becomes his skeleton. Anyway, this is where I also found the wave beam. I can't remember where I found the wave beam from.
Wave beam.
There's a wave
That's the
beam.
free shot.
There's a wave beam.
Wave beam goes through walls and goes through enemies.
I haven't got wave beam.
I haven't got wave beam.
I can't remember where you get it from, but I got it after this. After Crocomire.
I do like it though. Like we can have vastly different.
Yeah.
experiences.
Yeah, like
Look for the way, and also it's like it's how it is in the 90s, right? Playground talk of like, did you know that Luigi is in Mario 64? It's like, did you know there's a wave beam? No, there's not. No, there's not.
I like that. I think that's really cool.
You're lying. I got it yesterday. And the thing is, back then there was no real way of verifying it until you actually did it.
Yeah.
Sorry, a bit of a tangent there. I remember Mario DS. Do you remember Mario DS where you can
Which one?
play as Luigi, like in the original
right,
phone,
sure.
and like, if
Yeah.
you hold L and I, you can play as Luigi. I told everyone at school you can play as Luigi in Mario DS, and no one believed me. And I showed my mate once on a DS. He was like, and he grabbed me by the collar and went, "How'd you get Luigi?" I was like, "I've been telling you for ages how to get Luigi."
He was part of your mafia.
And I was like,
Mario Mafia.
I've been telling you for ages how to get Luigi, and I showed him how to do it. I was like, "Oh, I thought you meant press left or right on the D-pad." I'm like, "No, you fucking idiots!" But I was 7, so really fucking idiots. Then we move on to the wrecked ship. We could find the wrecked ship.
I think it's my favourite area of the game.
I think it's very cool. Yes.
It's my favourite area of the game. It's also the shortest.
Yes, it's also the smallest area. Yeah, of this.
I
this area.
can't really remember this. And this was only last night.
So he went to sleep immediately.
I was.
Whoa! That is shockingly short.
Yeah.
Jack has 3 energy tanks.
Yeah.
It's not many.
I have like I don't feel that entire bar.
I probably have about 5. I don't have that many.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed that you managed to do this, boss. Because I beat Fantoon on 40 health, and I have about 8 energy tanks.
64.
I would say Fantoon's not that hard though.
I found him quite hard.
Because you do know if you shoot the blue fire thingers, you get health.
Yeah, I know that.
Did you
So
use
there was points. I didn't use it.
So I used regular missiles, and then for the last like phase, because my health was getting low, and I was like desperate. I was just like spamming super missiles, and I beat him that way, and then he died.
See, what I was doing for Fantoon was when you use the fire attacks, I wasn't going for the eyes at those points. I was just grabbing health.
Right.
I would spend because he does the cycles where he just appears. Just the fire.
I'm impressed. You did it on 3 energy tanks. I'm impressed.
Fair play.
And yeah, so Fantoon. What do we think of Fantoon?
Hardest boss in the game, I would say.
I'd say hard. Yeah, hardest. Yeah, hardest.
Hardest
yeah.
boss in the game. Died a few times, but again, when you get around the point of the one thing that annoyed me was when he would disappear and he would appear literally right in front of you to take your health away.
I found him.
That bit annoyed me because that's like it's not even the flame bit. It's you then literally don't have an option to dodge it.
Yeah. I think he probably is the hardest boss so far, but I don't find him that hard. I didn't die.
I died.
I died a couple of times.
I'd probably die.
Not as many times as Crocomire. Crocomire, I took the longest. I think.
Probably died.
Partly because I had to restart the entire fucking game to
Well,
play it.
Probably. I died once on Crocomire. I think once on
Probably 2 or
maybe once on Fancy.
3.
Yeah.
Probably 2 or 3.
Keep going.
Hang on.
Because there was something just very specific. Those robots, I love them. I love those robots.
They do nothing. Yeah.
It's like gonk droids.
They're just tall gonk droids. I made a
guys.
very specific note of I love these guys.
I'm not actually sure where to go now, but I'll figure it out.
Well, we'll figure it out.
Yes,
Next
that was
time-
a 5-hour point.
So yeah,
roughly.
this is about the halfway point. I mean, it didn't take us 5 hours, but
No, I was probably on it for about
But-
10. So should we do ratings?
ratings so far, yeah. We'll see if it changes
Mr.
later
Munns.
on.
Me first. I'm going with a 9. Big 9.
I would say it's an objectively good game, and I would say it was a 9. However, in my hands, when I've got the controller, it's a 7.
In my hand.
But I recognise there's
6.5.
I recognise that it's an objectively good game. A 6.5 from Jack.
6.5. It's again, I agree with Pete. The game itself, I think, is good.
Yeah.
But there are so many points in this. I've just gone, for fuck's
Yeah,
sake, I cannot be dealing with this.
Yeah,
okay.
And especially when I was trying to do it last night, when I was finishing up to Fan 2, I was at the point where I was like, I just want to fucking get this. Just want to get to this boss and stop playing.
Oh, luckily, I think we're just over the halfway. I think Fantasy was actually halfway. For
6.5
It's
again.
going to get harder.
Objectively good game, but holy fucking shit, it's frustrating.
So I've heard Fantoon is the hardest boss, like in general.
No.
Okay. Okay.
No. I've
You said you never finished it there. Have you seen?
I've never finished it, but I've seen.
Okay.
I've seen people.
I know that Dragon is our next boss. I know that one. I don't know about mini bosses, but I know that's the main.
I
To be
know-
honest,
I
I don't get a lot of the
There's
difference
2
between
last
them.
bosses.
Yeah.
There's 2 final.
I did see a little clip from Dragon when I was watching Did You Know Gaming, and I know that Dragon does grab you, which does tell me, oh, I'm going to be pissed off by that because I hate things that grab you, like there's piranha things and the
Okay.
flower squishy things.
Good.
But no,
I'm having a good time.
I'm having a good time as well. The first time through, not so much, but It clicked with me yesterday because yesterday I played through the entire game basically.
Yeah.
I played through the entire game in one day. Then
All blind from here on out.
Right.
Other than like I've seen people play it.
okay,
I've just not played it myself.
sure, right then.
I'm looking forward to it. I will. Hopefully, we'll be finished it. Is that just to completion now?
Now it's to completion.
Okay, cool.
And that is part 1. We'll see you next time for part 2, where we will finish the game, beat Ridley, get those Metroids.
Remember to
Get those Metroids.
Welcome to part 2, when some of us have defeated the game.
I still enjoyed it, but it is frustrating.
Well, let's before we talk about our woes and sadness. Shall we? How was your time playing it, Peter?
So there's a common thing with especially Nintendo games where people say that the water levels of any Nintendo game is like the worst part. Mario, the water levels are the worst bits.
Mm-hmm.
However, a lot of the time as well, the sand levels, the desert levels, are also the worst parts of the game. Super Metroid does both. There's a sand level underwater. Meridia feels like an entirely different game.
I'd like to point out this man is standing up doing this rant.
Impassioned.
Standing.
Meridia is an entirely different game. It's so infuriating. The sand sucking you underneath. Up until this point, again, when my save got deleted the first time and I had to get all the way back up to Crocomire and then do the wrecked ship and do Fantoon, I really enjoyed that second time through it. And you know what? I kind of got the hang of it. I forgive this first part of the game with my frustrations of it the first time round. However, everything after Fantoon pisses me off so incredibly much that this game fell in my rankings quite considerably, I think.
It'll be interesting. My opinion, I actually didn't think the water bit was hard.
No, I agree.
I would agree with the sand bit. I think that was frustrating as hell.
The water wasn't hard. It was the fact that the stand level was just underwater. That's what I'm saying.
It was the sand bit I wasn't a fan of. Again, after we filmed our middle way through, I probably played about an hour or 2 hours, and I was actually like, you know what, I'm getting into this. Until I got to the sand bit, and it was like, oh yeah, this is why I hate this game. This is why this is
Strong
really frustrating me.
Strong stuff.
And I was speaking to it on the way here. It's like I'm really stuck on how I'm going to rank it because there's two ways I can go on it because I have two different opinions. Obviously, we'll get to that in the end. How was your attempt?
I finished it first. I finished it fairly quickly.
About a week after.
Yeah.
I think.
I kind of got through it with I had no issues with the sand, no issues with the water. Not because I'm on an emulator. I think it was just the controls on the Steam Deck are better. It's easier with the D-pad.
Okay.
Possibly the same as the Switch.
I'm
not sure.
Well, I've been obviously I've been playing on the Switch, but Peter brought his SNES around, and I was playing. I managed to do the super or spin jumps a lot easier on the SNES than I managed to do on the Switch. The Switch,
I'm the opposite. I
the
found
Switch
it so much easier on the Steam.
The Switch was awful
Okay.
with the jumping,
clicky
but
buttons.
I don't know why. But on the SNES, it was just perfect. The only issue was going up, but doing literally everything else, it was like I was playing Mario.
Okay.
I could not do the spin jumps. I was just dreadful at them. I took my fingers were cramping.
My
Genuinely.
fingers were dented.
And I just, no matter how I timed it, whether I spammed the button, whether I waited 1 second, whether I waited 2 seconds, it just would not happen. I tried it in so many different ways. I still have no idea what I was doing wrong. I just basically brute forced it in order to get up, just trying over and over and over again until it happened.
Okay.
Well, before we talk about our woes, shall we continue where we left off? We defeated Fantoon.
Yeah, we've defeated Fantoon.
The wrecked ship.
Great
A
boss,
long
brilliant
time
boss. I
ago.
love
We've
Fantoon.
already talked about
Yeah,
that.
no,
already.
but Wrecked Ship. The rest of Wrecked Ship was brilliant. Those little worker robots wandering around. Love them. They're
Wrecked
brilliant.
ship is the best area in the game.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I think so.
Just everything before
Peter's having a tough time here. Of our man on the SNES, he's
I respect the choice.
So I generally can't remember what you do after Fan 2.
After that, you go to Meridia, and that's where you find the sand stuff. But there's actually 2 different ways into Meridia, because the walkthrough says that one way is harder, but it takes longer, but the other way is a longer way round. However, it's easier and you collect more items. And I was like, great, I'll take that way because that's the way the walkthrough recommended. Mm-hmm. The walkthrough took me round and round in circles for ages collecting items. So I was just like, I just want to get to the next boss. I'm so fed up with walking round and round in circles. Yeah. So I skipped a bit, completely lost in this walkthrough, until eventually I got to Botwoon. Botwoon was great, love Botwoon. I think it's a unique boss, very easy to be honest.
The worm guy.
Doesn't really need to be that guy. That doesn't need to be that late in the game, I don't think, because it's.
It felt like they made a boss and they're like, where do we put this? Stick it in it.
Yeah, they had a cool idea for a boss and then just didn't really do it.
Yeah, sure.
But he felt much easier than some of the other places.
I agree.
Some of the other ones.
I agree.
Yeah.
And after Botwoon, I believe that's where you get the spin jump.
I think so. I think it's the.
I can't think of
Screw attack. It's not
Do
screw
you get
attack.
spin? Yeah, you get
space
you get
jump.
Spin.
Space jump. That's what
Yes.
it's space jump.
Space jump, then screw attack is from the golden.
Yeah, the golden guy, who also was very easy because I brute forced him and just basically stood next to him, shooting missiles in his face until he died.
I don't know if we're at the same bit, but one of the things I do like, I thought was cool. I like the bit when you have the statues, and they're holding their hand out and you have to turn into a ball
Yeah, I love
and
that.
go on the orb.
That's nice.
I don't know if this is going to get to one of those bits or if it's something else
That's
in
the
this
one
section.
You drain the lava away and you have to go into
But the one
There's
with
another
the
where it carries you. And
He
the one with
carries
the
you through the
statue walk,
spikes.
that's in the wreck ship.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
I thought that was very cool.
It's
cool.
Because you didn't have to play the game.
Yeah.
I just thought it was I thought it was nice.
We should also point out there's probably a moment where we've all at this point said, I just want to finish the game now.
Mine was a lot later. Mine, thankfully, was kind of like the last bit of the game.
Right.
Mine was
But I will get
the
to that.
sand bit frustrating.
I can see if you got frustrated at that point how the rest of the game will be a slog, because you've still got a good chunk of the game left.
But there was a bit where
2 hours
again,
left.
we've all got it, but I can't remember exactly when it was. It was before, obviously, Ridley.
I would say like
Probably not after Snake. Definitely after the Snake. Because again, for the first hour or two, I was actually really enjoying it.
I think the bit where you get the space jump is where the game not shows its age, but shows technically it's frustrating, because the space jump, I don't know whether it's just the emulator was okay, but playing on the SNES is like sometimes it'll work, most of the time it won't.
Jack was
Very
doing really
annoying.
well with it though.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That was not my. That's not a depiction of how I was doing it on the Switch. On the Switch, awful. I hated spin
jumping.
jumping.
So the scale goes: emulator was the easiest one, then SNES, then Switch.
Have a go on it, like.
Okay, I shall
because
do it.
it's
Yeah.
so much easier.
I don't have the Switch with me, but
So much easier, a lot nicer.
in terms
to
of
look
spin
at.
jumping,
Highly recommend. I can't imagine what shine jumping is like in this.
Oh, shine jumping was. I love shine jumping. It was great.
Okay.
I thought it was so easy that one.
There won't be, if you sprint and press.
Oh,
down,
that was easy on the
Like,
on the
because
Switch.
you know that
Mine
room
was
with the
always
grapple
okay.
was on both sides of the wall.
Yeah.
I just shine jumped through that. It was really easy just.
Yeah,
to
that's
skip
that's
the
that's
grapples.
that's easy on
Yeah.
the Switch.
It was just it was easy to just skip the grapples during that.
It's easy,
Yeah,
but
sure.
again, I never used it. Never really used it. I only used it a couple of times.
I like that there's stuff you genuinely just never need to use. You wouldn't even know are there.
You would never
Playground
know
stuff.
they were there.
Playground stuff where you go, have you done this? And you go, you can't do that. And it's like, fucking try it. And you do it and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah,
you can do that.
sure,
That's
try
cool.
it. That's great. But how do you know to even try it a lot of the
Yeah.
time? Because a lot of it is so just obscure.
A guide
Like,
is required to play this
for
game.
example, maybe skipping ahead just a little bit here, but for example, I brought my SNES round today because I was stuck on the Golden Pirates outside of Ridley's lair thing. The guys who you can only attack them when after they finish kicking, and because of that, the reason why that is because I had such little health and no missiles, and I found out that apparently I just didn't have an entire laser that I skipped ages ago.
You missed the plasma beam in Meridia.
So we had to go all the way back.
But this is the thing, but this is-
also the plasma beam though is so out of the way.
Yes.
How did you know to even find that?
It's the only area you haven't explored. You need
I
a
stumbled
space jump.
across it and found it. But this is the thing. We obviously went back, helped Peter get it. Peter then had when he used it, he had it firing 2 bolts.
I know.
When I used it, it was just the one.
Because I had the
Because you
wave
need
beam,
the wave
yeah.
beam, which again
I don't know
is
where
The wave beam isn't necessary, I don't think. So, but that's
the thing.
Because the wave beam isn't necessary. I assume the plasma beam wasn't necessary.
That's the thing.
either.
It's hard to see what is needed
Yeah.
because, and I think you said you can defeat the game without the plasma beam. It's just hard, but
Yeah.
Let's fast forward to the Dragoon guy.
Oh, Dragon.
The guy-
Yes, I've got Dragon. Yeah.
Not Dragoon, Dragon.
I wasn't a fan of him.
I thought he was alright.
He was one of my favourite bosses because it was really easy.
I struggle.
The little Dragon's babies were like, oh, let us out and everything, and then Dragon appears.
Yeah.
And I
It's a
died
cool
the first
little
time.
trick.
I tried hitting
I died
just
the first
missiles
2
the
times,
first time,
yeah.
and then I was like, and then I did look at a walkthrough because I was walking a walkthrough basically the entire game, but I didn't look at a walkthrough because I was like, oh, I died once, I'm just gonna look it out.
I was doing the walkthroughs to get to the point, but when it got to the bosses, I just didn't bother reading it.
So
Oh no, I wasn't
You need to do
reading
this
it
damage.
because of that. I just happened to also.
I
read
was
that
I
part.
was running through. I'd do it if I got stuck. It would be then okay. Let's get this guy up. Where am I supposed to? Go?
But Dragon is the only boss in the game where there's actually 2 ways of killing him. You get grabbed by Dragon. You kill the turrets first, and then you get grabbed by Dragon. He drags you up into the air. You use the grapple on one of the turrets, and you electrocute Dragon, and he dies instantly.
See, I didn't know that, so I did it the
I
hard
think that's
way.
the way you're supposed to do it.
I
It
don't
probably
know.
is. I did it the hard way.
But
I
if you
shot.
can
I
also just kill it.
I just shot him with missiles,
Yeah.
and that was about it. Took ages.
I thought that was
a bit
fun. I thought that was-
frustrating.
Yeah.
You have to wiggle to
Well,
escape his grasp. You have to wiggle it 30 times.
That was the bit. That was one of the bit. There's a few times in this game we go, that's pretty cool. But that was another time where I went, that's pretty cool because it felt like when you got grabbed without knowing that and you just kind of died. It felt like well, this is bullshit. And then you realise the next time I lived and died after, I realised you can kill the missile things and saw they were like the grab points. So I thought, well, the next time I go through this, I'll try and grab one when he's grabbing me. And then I was like, he's dead. I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've naturally figured
very
that out.
Dark Souls. This game.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's a good comparison.
I think it's a SNES
Although,
thing.
isn't that
right?
isn't that a bit of a cliche of like
Dark Souls
of like games journalists of like this game is the Dark Souls of 2D or Metroidvania.
It's just, it was just hard. It was.
But anyway, we all defeated this geezer in the end.
I think I've realised my favourite part of this game are the boss battles. Every boss battle I think has been really fun.
I think I'm the opposite. I think I quite enjoyed going in new areas and exploring them and finding new stuff. Not that I did it a lot, but the boss battles were often a bit of a slog.
I like the boss battles. I like them all. Again, my issue with the boss battles
Dislike
is
some.
not the bosses themselves. It's again I mentioned last episode getting to that area when no missiles were spawning in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just health drops. No missiles were spawning in, and I just couldn't do it. That was what's frustrating me. But then, like the snake guy was fine. Even the boss Dragoon, it obviously took me a few tries, but there was never a point where I was like, "This is it's the game actively trying to make me lose." It was more I was dying. I was dying because I was dying.
Yeah.
And it was like, fair enough. I failed this attempt of the boss.
I felt that way, and I felt no boss was giving me real trouble until I'm skipping forward. I got to Ridley, and I wanted to yeet my Steam Deck out of the window.
I can't really think of anything that happens between.
I fucking
I can't think of anything
it.
that happens between Dragoon and Ridley.
No, you basically fuck around and find out with Ridley.
Me and Tom were using save states. Would you call it?
Yeah, because
Sparing.
I
was trying to use it as sparingly as possible.
We were using instead of going to the save. Well, no, I was using the save points anyway. But I was for example, for Ridley, I was saving just outside of his door.
Yeah,
because it saves me from grinding all his enemies. And
You could say that's not the true way to play the game, but doing. I would never have finished this game.
I
if
wish
that
I
wasn't
played this on the Switch. I really do wish I played it on the Switch.
it was very.
It's a thing that belongs in the era it was made in, but not
It
anymore.
belongs in a museum.
I think this game is fantastic. It belongs a special place in history. It not revolution, but it developed a whole genre. It's very, very good. But the final part of this fucking game
So-
needs to
so
burn
let's-
in hell.
Again, so
Let's go to the route to Ridley.
I brought my Super Nintendo over because I got stuck on this part with the Golden Pirates, and the reason why is because I had no health and no missiles and nowhere
No
to really
plasma
farm
beam.
them, and I didn't have the plasma missile as I mentioned earlier.
Which you didn't know about.
So then we went. So we've just spent the last 2 hours going
crusade.
all the way back to get the plasma beam. To then go all the way back again. To then grind. To then by the time we get back to where the Golden Pirates are, have no health again. To then build our health back up again really slowly.
Yeah.
And then go all the way back to the pirates. Managed to kill them pretty well. Jack did very well in that fight. Well done. You did very well doing all the grinding and getting there and back and everything. So
Thank
well
you.
done. Thank you. But then you have to go
Then you
through.
die.
Then you have to go through one final gauntlet, which luckily has bugs that spawn that you can get
It's
stuck
like the infinite
from.
bugs that come out the
Yeah,
pipes.
that's great,
Very good,
brilliant.
very good grinding bit.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And then Ridley happened, and I think, and I took the control for Ridley because I was like, I've got this far. It was just that one bit I needed help on, so I'm fine with playing Ridley here.
No, yeah, sure.
And I think mechanically Ridley was easy. I did die and I haven't finished it, so that is it. I haven't beaten Ridley. And the reason why I haven't re-attempted Ridley is because there's space pirates in the way, because the save point is before Ridley.
Miles away, we should
So-
point out.
Yeah.
So I have to grind. So I have to do all of that grinding all over again
It's about 6 rooms before, maybe.
to then get the pirates again. To then get there, and sure, maybe if I did it loads of times, I'd get the pirates down and be able to kill them in 10 seconds. Great, brilliant. But
Why do all that later?
But why? But I'm not. I think also part of the issue is that we are viewing this game from a modern brain, with our modern brains of
100%.
where we do have access to the internet of walkthroughs and things like that. We don't have to buy Nintendo Powers every month to find the secrets. We're viewing this from an era where games are a lot more easier and accessible.
Yeah.
And this game comes from an era 30 years ago, 30 years ago this year. And as a result, it's one of those games that you're finding out what the release date is.
Well, different areas obviously, but for Europe, July 28th.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
But
I'll
for
try and get
Japan,
the sound by July 28th.
but for Japan and North America, it's March and April.
Okay.
So 30 years, depending on where you're from.
So, and because back then in the 90s, it was more sort of aimed at kids who have a lot more time, a lot more patience for these things. Or back then they had a lot more patience.
You
Kids today
spend
would
your
have
money...
I would love to see the target demographic playing this game today because they would just have zero.
You'd have less money to spend. You'd buy a game. You'd be like, well, I've got to finish it.
I don't think there'd be many. If you look at today's, think of how many let's say blockbuster games are coming out.
No,
You know, if you can compare how Super Metroid was probably when it came out, being genre defined. How many genre defining brilliant games came out in '94? Whereas there's a lot more blockbuster games coming out this year.
Well, back then, that's another point. Back then, you would rent games from Blockbuster.
Yeah.
You wouldn't own them.
Yeah.
So how long would you have to rent this game for with no guides or anything? How long would that take? I think you'd be better off just buying it. Cheaper just to buy
Probably,
it.
yeah. But anyway, going on to the Ridley fight. Me and Thomas here, we defeated him.
Yeah.
Congratulations, my
Thank you very
friend.
much.
Shake the hand. Thomas seemed to have a very stressful time with this. How
Well,
many times did you die?
I don't know. I didn't count because I lost count. But I spent 3 hours on Ridley. 3 hours.
Honestly,
over 2 days.
honestly, I did it in 5 attempts, which probably equaled less than an hour.
I cannot comprehend.
Probably a bit less than that, maybe 40 minutes.
The Springle clearly.
My
helps.
first.
I don't understand how it works. I've
My
not seen it.
first attempt was, and I said 4 when I originally told them because my first attempt was, I was on low health as we mentioned before, going through all those pirates. And I was kind of like, oh, there's a boss here. I mean, we're looking at the SNES now. I can't really make out who that boss is.
No.
So I was kind of like, I didn't know if
There's a
there's,
boss.
I don't know how many bosses are in this game. So I was like, I'll just go down. I'll see what this boss is. See if I can get a gist of how to defeat him. I went in there not knowing I'm not going to kill this guy.
Yeah.
And that's when I found out, oh, it's actually Ridley. I'll need to come back and actually get all the health back up.
Yeah.
Then my first attempt, I actually got really far on my first attempt.
Okay.
But then I died.
Well, I think I got pretty far in that first attempt as well. I think
You
that's
got so much further than I would.
Like,
Yeah, Peter, you had a lot of energy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 energy tanks.
I had 5.
I had 4.
Pretty sure.
And a reserve tank.
I didn't have a reserve tank. I never.
If there was a save point right before Ridley,
Mhm.
I think I would have done it by now. Like
Yeah,
I think mechanically that was the easiest boss fight.
Oh, fuck off.
As in mechanically, as in all he does is come down and back up again and come down and back up again.
He does chain.
Okay.
But I feel like every time he came near me, he'd damage me. So whistling
that
down
was the issue.
For
yeah.
my
just kill me.
for the
And
way I did it,
wouldn't be able to
I
outdamage him with the health I have.
on my 3rd or 4th attempt, I figured out that I also had the ball jump.
Springboard.
The springboard.
I didn't even know where.
I again just found it.
You just found it.
I just found it. I used all my super miss and I found out that does damage to it. I feel like the super bombs do a lot more damage than the super missiles.
Okay.
So I was just jumping up, putting the super bomb halfway through the screen, and it was damaging, and that's
can't avoid it.
how I did it in the end.
Yeah. that makes sense.
Well, I am up for try. I will. Before next episode, I will attempt this again. I'll update you.
Maybe get the
before-
springboard.
Yeah.
I know how to get the
I
springboard.
don't
think that's
know.
useful. I don't think that's useful. How was it? Why would that be useful?
Because you can then
Get
plant
the
it
bomb in the
halfway
middle of the
through.
room.
Because
Oh,
you know
okay.
when you were doing it, you're wasting a lot of bombs, not damage, because he was
Okay.
always up there. I was jumping, putting it halfway in the
Right.
middle,
And
and
you
then
can't
because the
avoid
bomb's
it.
there, it was damaging him.
I can tell you, if we're playing this game again, I'm not going back for the springboard. That's way too much effort to go back for that.
I do not even know where it is,
Yeah.
so I couldn't even help
It
you.
might be in Norfolk.
Probably is,
I don't know. I'm not. I'll never find out.
but we don't know.
But
So
I would have absolutely loved to have beaten Ridley. I really, really would have absolutely loved to have beaten Ridley. It's just it is literally those golden pirates and then the path to there,
Gauntlet, Road to Ridley.
the road to Ridley, and the fact that there's just no like there's no the game doesn't even it feels like everything this game does is trying to work against you. Every
I think
single
this-
pass this game, because there's always something like it's like, oh, you're really slow in water. Don't worry, you've now got the gravity suit, so you can walk in water. But also,
Yeah.
you're not going to find water anymore for the rest of the game anyway, so it doesn't matter. Oh, you've also got the gravity suit, so you can also survive in lava. But also, we're going to give you this like acid water now anyway. That
The
does
grappling
damage to you
hook
anyway.
as well.
Oh,
After the grappling hook,
redundant,
I find you
though.
don't really need the grappling hook,
Yeah.
do you?
it's like there's just. And it's like, what was
It's
it?
almost they introduce. We discussed in the first episode with the X-ray vision, in the sense of you find the X-ray vision, but at this point you've already found
Yeah.
so
At
much
this point,
invisible
you're
stuff.
already aware that there are secrets at this point. I still think the X-ray scope should have been introduced
Way early.
way early.
Ridley was
Two things to fix this game, I genuinely feel.
Mm-hmm.
If at a save point you recovered all of your energy and all of your missiles, I can forgive the gauntlet.
Yes.
I
Absolutely need to.
I disagree with that. I think the save should just be that.
The save
But what
should
I
just
would
be-
say is have a save probably in the room after the golden pirate, those Mantis golden pirate things.
Yeah.
Have a save room there just before you go to Ridley.
That's it. A save point just
Yeah,
between
sure.
the Golden Pirates and Ridley. Perfect.
Done.
I think that fixes it. Anyway, moving on from Ridley.
Yeah.
then-
This is all down
this-
to you guys now.
So we then you gander across and then you meet a fucking brain, motherfucking brain.
Yeah, you
Mugs you.
You find all the Metroids. You kill a load of Metroids. I think there's supposed to be like the big Metroid is breeding and making more Metroids.
Fucking mugs you.
Mugs you
Steals
off.
your stuff.
The big Metroid comes along and he.
I never get that bit because he grabs you, he takes all your energy, all your missiles and that, but then you literally replenish them about in the next room.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
Well, I think it's the big Metroid sucks your energy, and then realizes, oh, hang on, you're my mate. Because that's
isn't the small Metroid supposed to be a good guy?
The small Metroid becomes a big Metroid. That's the Metroid you save and take to the researchers.
Yeah, because it's not the little Metroid that kills the scientists at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's Ridley who kills them.
Yeah.
The little Metroid
'Cause-
is supposed to be a good guy.
You go when you kill Ridley, you go into the next room, and you see the little
Yeah, it's
tube
broke.
he's in, and he's not in it. And you go all the way back to the, do you remember that statue in Bryn Star?
Yes, there's that statue.
Yeah,
and it's
you
the
go
four
in there.
bosses.
There's like a little lab underneath that.
Anyway, how did you find the mother brain boss?
Please, please.
I
Died twice, maybe?
3 times, but and this is a big
The bit
but.
where you realise you have to have more than 300 health.
Yes.
So I had to trace
There's the
back.
super
No,
beam,
no one's.
which takes 300 health away, and then you're supposed to be like on the ground, almost breathing heavily, and that's when the Metroid comes and helps you.
Yeah.
If you don't have 300 health, you just die. And there's no way to avoid this beam.
Oh, okay.
The
And
game
there's
has
n-
you wouldn't
And
know.
there's no indication. I had to Google that.
Yeah, that's quite nice. I always had to do
Cool.
And
game.
then you defeat.
was-
You get rainbow powers. You defeat the
that. That
guy.
is cool. That's quite
Rainbow bit's
satisfying.
quite cool.
Yeah.
I died on that.
Well, it's basically the end of like a Sonic game where you turn into Super Sonic.
Basically,
right,
essentially.
cool.
And then that's the whole planet blows up. You got to get off the planet.
You did it
off the
first time,
planet.
didn't you?
Did it
You
first
escaped.
time.
I
First time.
2 times. I basically I got lost on my first
It's
attempt.
3 minutes, isn't it? It's like
3
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
I got lost in the
I got back with
pipes.
6 seconds left.
I got lost in the pipes and then
that sounds so cool. I wish I could do that. I'm proud of where I got to because again this
You
is
haven't you
this-
haven't
you
saved.
played
it,
this
right?
probably more legit.
yeah.
I'm not saying me and Tom cheated,
I'm-
but you played it more.
We played it with modernizations.
I would never have. I would have never have gotten this far without the game club like a book club.
Yeah, 100%.
I
mean, even to be honest, I would have bounced off it.
I,
I'm glad I
I
didn't.
and I've had this game for 26 years, and this is the first I've ever gotten. So I'm happy that I at least saw Ridley. I at least saw Ridley,
Yeah, you got a glimpse.
and right at the end there.
About 3 minutes worth of Ridley.
And-
Probably not even.
Well,
I'm
Yeah.
ashamed, but I'm ashamed that I haven't done it. I really
shall
am.
we get to ratings?
I think it was
So-
very well reviewed.
So yeah, basically among all games publications, it is somewhere between 90% and 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Basically every IGN, all of them.
It would still be a 9 if I wasn't
Yeah.
so frustrated after Ridley.
Again,
Peter, do you want to go next?
I mean,
Salty, man.
sales-wise, Metroid games have never done very well.
No.
Like no Metroid games have done very well.
I don't think
sales-wise.
when you look at sales, I don't think that
Yeah.
ever.
Thinking about the Ridley
Should.
fight, I could probably blame myself for a lot of it because I had fuck all energy, really, at
Yeah.
that stage of the game. Anyway, sorry.
Peter, you go. What's your rating?
My rating,
You gave it a
Again,
7.
objectively good game. It's a 9 out of 10. An objectively good game. However, when it's in my hands and I'm playing it and I'm getting frustrated at it,
Yeah.
it's gotta
6.
stay at a 7. I can't go
Okay.
lower than a 7 for this game. Because again, it is genuinely a good game. I
But
just
I want to point out, Peter has had a breakdown
I
these last 2 hours.
Arguably.
no, I've had a
Yes.
breakdown this entire weekend.
Yes. So that comes to me, and I was saying before, I really don't know where to rate this game because I can see where it's enjoyable, and where I could probably nudge it up to a 7. But if you go back and listen to this podcast, I'm sure Peter will, of how much criticism we have on this game. Think of how much we've said negatively
Let's say a
about
nice thing
it.
about the game.
On the whole, I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
On the whole, it's been okay, but if I was in 94 and I played this, I don't think I'd play the sequel.
Well, it's the
It
third
wouldn't
game.
want me to play
I
the
think the
next
sequel
game.
was a little while after.
Yeah,
so it was a good,
well,
about 8
this-
years
as
or
well.
so, wasn't
It wouldn't want me
Oh,
to
more
play,
than that,
but
it
I
was
wouldn't be
like
looking
10.
forward to it.
I think the game after this was Fusion, which
That's
was on
Game
Game Boy
Boy.
Advance.
That was about 10. I'd say 2002 maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a long one. Was it
so
Metroid
I-
Prime after? I
I don't know.
I liked the bosses.
It's probably with Metroid Prime.
I really don't know where to rate this. I rated it 6.5 last time.
Seven?
I don't know.
It's probably not gone up, really.
I
You,
don't-
and you did it at least.
You finished
I'm glad I played it. It's a game I don't think I ever would play without the Game Club. But I can't rate it.
And that's,
All I'm
that's
gonna
sort of
say-
the point of the game club. That is
And
sort of the point.
all I'm going to say is it would be somewhere between a 6.5 and a 7. I can't put it down to one of them.
No.
I just can't. I don't want to give it a 6.5 because there are some bits I've enjoyed,
Yeah.
but it doesn't deserve to be a 7. I can't give it a 7.
Thing is, I know that if I had actually beaten this game, I would have some sort of Stockholm syndrome over it and be like, oh, it's instantly like an 8 out of 10. Yeah, I'd immediately go like, oh, the euphoria of finishing this game has
Yeah.
risen in my mind.
What I would also
And I
say is,
forgive it for all of its
again, there
problems.
was a point where all of us were like, I just want to finish this game.
Yeah.
I don't think that's healthy for game. But
Okay.
playing
Yeah,
game
yeah,
is
sure.
if you're at a point where you're just like, I can't be asked to do this now.
So
Finish
I'm
this.
gonna leave it on that though. That like if I had completed this game, it would have been an 8. I think
Okay.
I think I would have had that sort of euphoria over like.
And
I
this
forgive it. I forgive it for.
And this is what I've always said: it's gotta, when we rate this, gotta be based on our gameplays.
Yeah.
There'll be some games where, I mean, this will happen. You know, some games where I probably like it a lot more than these two. I can name a few games on the list that I
Yeah,
can
sure.
tell you that will happen because of certain little things.
I think it'll be interesting to play Metroid Dread after this because I feel like
yeah.
all of your criticisms will be fixed,
Okay.
and you'll just experience what this should be.
Well,
There's
it's
at
on
the
the
something.
time.
There's something that you mentioned last time, and I'm going to bring that up. Is when you mentioned, playing the future games helps to play the past games.
I'd say so.
I get what you mean, but in the end, I'm kind of like, doesn't help this rating.
No,
Right.
100%.
It doesn't help this game.
No.
That I've got to play a game 30 years in the future
Pretty much.
to enjoy a game
40. No, 30.
30,
Yeah,
30 years in the past.
Yeah.
You know,
Like,
you
yeah.
don't play Odyssey and like, oh, hang on, to like Odyssey,
I need to play.
I
Mario
need to
1.
play Nintendo, Mario 64.
Well, no, it would be the other way around, wouldn't it? Yeah, you have to play to enjoy it on.
Yeah,
to-
yeah,
for
you
most
got
of the
what I
story,
mean.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it an 8.
So it's gone down a point.
Metroid Dread is on the list, and I look forward to it coming up eventually. Just not for a while, but
Yeah.
once we have played that game, I would be interested in coming back to this at some point and see if I feel any different towards
I
it.
genuinely feel Metroid Dread is what this game was at the time.
Okay.
And Metroid Dread, there was only one bit of frustration. It's right at the end, the final boss, it's pretty hard.
Okay.
As it
Well,
should be.
That's cool. We're saying nice things about the game. I liked the bosses. I think the bosses were
The
really
bosses
cool.
were good. I like some of it, and I'm
It
not
was
I'm
designed
not
well. The graphics
moaning
are
at the
nice.
game. There's a lot of stuff I like about it, but it's the stuff that frustrates you.
Yeah.
Frustrates
It whittles you down.
Tom, you mentioned the graphics again. I think all Super Nintendo games will always look good.
Not an issue with the graphics.
Like 50 years from now, Super Nintendo games will still
if
look
I
good.
was to nitpick the smallest nit
Yeah.
on the graphics, it would be again the boss's head. I can't.
Oh, but that's because I put it on, the Super Nintendo hasn't upscaled properly. That's
But
why.
even on the Switch, it looks like that.
Oh, yeah.
So
Well, I think that's supposed to be a boss icon. It's not supposed to be a boss.
yeah, it's supposed to indicate it, but that is the smallest
Yeah.
nit, and I
That's
wouldn't,
right.
and that doesn't affect my rating of it. Absolutely,
I didn't even realise the pictures were there.
doesn't affect it at all.
I went into this game really wanting to like it. I went into part 2 of this game really wanting to like it because by the end of part 1, by the time we got to Fantoon, I really enjoyed the game.
Yeah.
And going into part 2, I really was really looking forward to it and really wanted to like this game. So I didn't go into this game with any negative thoughts about it. And
I don't think any of us did.
And I
didn't.
No.
and I am ashamed that I never beat Ridley.
It'll.
But I got to Ridley. I saw Ridley at least.
I think the position you were at was pretty awkward.
Yeah.
The position you're still in isn't great,
No.
but it's doable.
And I will try again before next week, which whatever game we end up playing, let's find out.
We've decided that you can't do a category 3 times in
You
a
can't
row.
do anything.
So we
sometimes, though, right?
can't have, let's say if it's Tom again this time, we can't go
Then Tom's
for
banned next month.
Tom's banned for next month. We're not going to be playing a pre-2000s game because obviously we've played 2 in a row already.
Yeah.
So we will not be playing. If we roll it, we will simply
So it'll only be
roll again.
number 1 is nostalgia game. Number 2 is within 5 years and haven't played. Number 3 is any game from 2010. Number 4 is any game from 2000s. Number 5 is any game pre
That's a re-roll. Then number 5.
So
this month.
number 5 is a pre-roll. and
Number 6 is randomised 2 games. Majority vote between
Let's-
2.
Well, since Jack hasn't gone yet, I'm going to let Jack roll the dice this month. So we're rolling first for category.
Category.
So-
If it's a 5, we roll again. It'll be
It's a 5.
okay. It's a
6.
It's a six.
Random.
Random
Randomised.
game. So the next category is completely pointless because it's now a random game.
So
I'm
now
gonna
we
get
jump
the
on.
random game up. I'm going to get the random website up.
Good
Because,
lord, this could be.
I'm on randommeower.com. Jack, roll the dice for how many times I'm going to press random.
Could be
5.
5. 1. That dice must be rigged. It keeps coming to 5. 3. 4. 5.
What is it?
You know what? Untitled Goose Game
Okay.
versus So it's democratic.
Oh, Metroid.
Okay, so the category, so randommeow.com has come up with Untitled Goose Game versus Metal Gear Solid. So what we voting? So don't say it straight away. Don't say it straight away. Let's mull over it. Untitled Goose Game is a very short indie game that was very much loved.
Does it have a story?
It has a bit of a story, yeah.
Oh, that's actually quite a tough
It was very much loved a couple of years, about a year or so ago. Metal Gear Solid is already on the list. However, it is a very beloved game. It's very critically acclaimed game, of course.
It's pre-2000.
And it'll be the first game I've actually played all the way through. But, like, to put you through what I'm thinking, Metal Gear Solid 1 is a fucking incredible game.
Okay.
Untitled Goose Game would be such a good palate cleanser. It really would. After the arduous.
I think I'm on your side with that.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't think we should all say individually.
Yeah.
I think what we'll all do is probably text our group on what we want to do.
Okay. Alright, well, we'll count down.
And we'll do.
I genuinely don't know, because on the one hand, Metal Gear Solid is like game of the century. It's so good.
Right.
So, go to our thing. We'll do it just in game. We'll do it all at the same time.
Okay, so I'm also thinking Metal Gear was already on the list. So we're gonna get to it eventually already.
I hope so.
Also, it's from the 90s. We've played 2 games from the 90s already.
I know what I'm putting already.
All right.
Are we putting in the group chat?
So remember, it's
Put it in our
democratic.
group
So whichever one gets 2 votes or more, obviously,
Okay.
we'll go for. So I'm gonna go for.
Well, hang on, before we're ready. Do a countdown.
I don't know. I'm a bit stuck now, actually.
Okay, I've got it.
I've got mine already. I know what I'm doing.
I know what I'm doing, but it could be 50-50 for me. But I've got my reasons.
Okay. Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, send.
Oh.
Okay. It's 3 votes for Goose Game.
Unanimous.
So my reasoning behind it is not only we've played a pre-2000s game 3 times in a row. I think
It's something new.
It's not just that as well. It's also Metal Gear's on the list already.
Yeah. We're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it eventually, regardless.
My,
And obviously-
my reasons are palate cleanser, because fuck knows we need it.
How long does it take to beat?
Yeah, Goose Game's like 5, maybe?
Yeah, maybe less than
I
that.
think I have played it like
I don't think
10
I've
minutes.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's a nice little.
I know it's a
indie
nice
game.
little
Nice
little
indie
indie
I think it's
game.
on everything as well.
You play it? Oh my god.
I think it's on every console.
Is it 2-player?
It might be.
It's got 10 out of 10 on Steam.
Yeah, but it's got a 10 out of 10. So yeah, we're gonna get to eventually Metal Gear. But
2019.
Palate cleanser,
2019.
it's modern,
Yeah.
and I think for Metal Gear, we need it after a palate cleanser, because it is so much story.
Okay.
And it's not hard, but you need
Some
focus.
facts about this. It's inspired by Super Mario 64 and the Hitman series. They are 2 different sides of the
Is
spectrum.
it? I can't think of either of those games when I think of Goose Game.
Maybe.
How it works on combining stealth mechanics with a lack of violence.
So how long did it take to beat Untitled Goose Game?
Haven't even looked.
Okay. 'Cause it might just be a one and done sort of thing.
It might be.
So the main story is about 4.5 hours. Let's say 5
One
hours.
and done.
Yeah. That's just one and done then. So
One and done.
probably next week we'll probably finish that.
That's fine with me. I think we've needed a game.
Yeah, we
that
need
just
we need
bang out.
something chill, and hopefully in that week I'll also finish Super Metroid. And if this bit gets cut, it means I haven't. So
Well, look, I can't wait.
okay. Then.
You know what?
Untitled
In the
Goose Game.
words of a clone trooper during the Clone Wars story, finally the nightmares have ended.
You know what? In the words
They're
of,
over.
In the words of Samus Aran, the galaxy is at peace.
Get so
Galaxy
bitch.
is at peace.
Anyway, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Alright then,
Clean.
see you next time on The Game Club. It's like a book club, but it's a game.
Clean
It's a
that
game.
fucking cartridge.
Give him a blow.
Is that really our catchphrase?
No, I don't know.